Qapla world, hello world, it's BirdoPrey5, and welcome. Thank you, Thomas Potts. Thomas Potts with a $1.99 super chat says your certification is fake. Fake? No, it's not fake. You're fake. You're fake, Thomas Potts. You're fake. Where was I? Saying hello world and thank you for coming to a live edition of Dear Bop. Free advice. This is where I give you answers to the questions you guys have asked me over the last few days, 4 or 5 days. I have got a backup of questions, and we're not going to get through them all today because I have a short stream because I have physical therapy and I started late because I had a dentist appointment this morning, which thankfully went well. I see Joseph Petrick was nice enough earlier at 1:55, said I hope the drilling was not painful, and he will squat here in the meantime. Well, Joseph, it was not painful. However, as the Novocaine or whatever it is wears off in the next half hour or hour, it probably will get a little bit painful. But the pain at the time, there was none. I mean, the dentist, I didn't even feel him put in the first needle. He was that good. The second needle, I felt a little bit. So it turned out there were 2 cavities in the one tooth. He had to do 2 fillings in one tooth. But overall, not so bad, especially after 10 years of not going to the dentist because I'd been, stuck at home. And Cinnabon Bunny was early and said, hello, there should be snacks while we wait and some chairs. Well, Cinnabon, hopefully you did find a chair and we're not waiting on the floor. And then Cinnabon Bunny was first when I actually went live. Welcome, Cinnabon Bunny. And Sci-Fi Nation says, greetings, Birdo Prey, Mama Prey, Sassy Prey, and fellow nerds. Greetings, Sci-Fi Nation. Joseph Petrick says second. Looks like third, but you were here first. And Joseph says, as his wife prefers. Very, very good. Azine says, all hail our glorious leader, BirdoPrey5, and death to Turdistan. Yes, definitely. Definitely. And Thomas hasn't even joined Turdistan, from what I hear, which is a good move on Thomas's part. Richie Poole says, hello, Bob. Welcome, Richie Poole. Thank you again, Thomas Potts, for your fake news super chat. John Street, all hail the God Empire. Birdo, son of a bitch, you evil Kurogan trying to brainwash people. Sci-Fi Nation's Thomas Potts is fake news. All hail Kuroga, indeed. Not Ryan Johnson says, hello and Qapla. Thomas Potts is right. Your certification is fake. This is completely a real certification. The country might be fake, but the certification is real. Uncle Remus says, hi, Bird. Welcome, Uncle Remus. Derek McManus, greetings all. Will this chat be child-friendly? No, it's not going to be child-friendly. Not Ryan Johnson says, Bird was drilled and filled. Take that comment as you will. Uncle Remus says, open your mouth and say, ah. Joseph Petrick with a €2 super chat. Buy some good Kurogan booze. This should be enough. Oh, thank you, Joseph. Yes, it's part of my empire. It's part of my Emperor of Kuroga. I do get all the booze I can use. In fact, that's the slogan to become Emperor. All the booze you can use. Okay, guys. Well, we've got quite a few, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started here. Because there's a lot of you. A lot of you need advice out there. And like I said, I'm not going to get through all of them today. I will do another video, probably an offline video, and get to the rest. But I wanted to at least get to some today. Bird F. No, isn't that child-friendly? No, it's not child-friendly. If I was child-friendly, I would have just said, no, sir, or something. F. No is still not child-friendly. It's not as blatantly unchild-friendly as it could be, but it's not child-friendly. Because children would ask, what does F no mean, Mommy? What does F no mean, Daddy? And then you'd have to answer them and be like, you'd either have to lie to your own kid, or you'd have to tell them the truth. And in either case, you're going to be arrested and you're going to have your kids taken away from you because there's no right answer. Josh Street says, so it's PG-13, and Sci-Fi Nation says, frack, no, it isn't. Okay, so the first Dear Bop for today. Hopefully there'll be very few mentions of Frank Sinatra with Freddie Mercury. Dear Bop, oh, it's Dear Mop.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Dear Mop. If I have a, didn't we do this one? If I have a son who will not accept his singer being gay, what? Yes, we did this one. We did this one, and Mop said that that the singers probably aren't gay. I bet these two are the old ones. Yes, they are. Okay. Sorry I missed your birthday. What would you like as a gift? Yes, okay. So these are both old ones. My bad. My bad. I'll put these into the archive, not into the trash. The archive with the older ones. So this is the first one for today. Dear Bop, this is Alpaca Fan again. I am doing much better now. I'm getting some help. So don't worry about me. Your last Dear Bop was hilarious. Thank you for showing me that clip. Keep up the good work. Well, I'm very happy to hear that, Alpaca Fan. I did. I showed a clip of a ship crashing because he said that me crashing and space engineers always help cheer him up. So even though that's a bit of an a-hole thing to say, that he likes seeing me crash, I did go ahead and send him a previously unreleased ship crash video. Of course, now that the new round of Space Engineers is ongoing, there might be some new videos coming up. But I am glad you are getting some help, Alpaca Fan. I will worry about you anyway, but I'm glad you are getting help. Your last Dear Bop was hilarious. Well, you're welcome. And thanks for showing a clip. You're welcome too. And keep up the good work. I will do my best, Alpaca Fan. Didn't seem to be a question for advice, but just a request that I keep up the good work. So I will do my best. And thank you for the follow-up. It is appreciated. Okay. Okay. So that one was easy. Nothing to do. Number 2. Dear Bop, I drink too much. Why'd I drink that much? Why me telling you this? Oh well. I drink too much. Why'd I drink that much? Why me telling you this? Oh well. If you know you're drinking too much, you probably aren't. And if you're concerned about why you're doing certain things, again, you probably haven't drank as much as you think you have. This is probably more, you drink enough to be honest with yourself. It's probably more of a call for attention than a serious issue. So you probably don't have a drinking problem. What I think you have is a, how do we put this? A self-esteem problem. So, I don't know if you're male or female, but assuming you're a male, go on whatever your favorite dating app might be, assuming you have one. If you don't have one, that's fine. Just pick something like Match.com or I honestly, I've never used Tinder. I would say probably stay off Tinder, but I mean, if you don't want to spend a couple of bucks, there's free ones out there, like Plenty of Fish and stuff. And just, I don't want to be rude about it, but send messages to the least attractive women you can find, and more than likely at least a couple will respond positively. You go meet them, and probably more than likely they will show you a good time. And although you're not really into it that much, surprisingly, your body just picks up self-esteem. And once you've got that scent on you, you immediately become more attractive to more attractive females. And I mean, within a week, you could go from 1s and 2s to 7s and 8s. So just put in that time. You'll get there. You'll have a much better week after a week. You can stop calling back those first people, and you have a whole new people. In fact, you'll start meeting people on the street, right? People you'll meet people in restaurants, in social gatherings. They will just smell it on you. They will come over to you and they'll say, "Hey, you have a girlfriend? Do you have this? Do you have that?" And I mean, they could be models, okay? They could be freaking models. And they say, "Oh, what do you like to do? Oh, you like jeeping? Oh, that's like outdoorsy. Yeah, I like outdoor stuff. Hey, I've got this and I'm a model. Do you wanna go out with me?" And you'll be like, "What?" And then next thing you know, you'll be dating a model. Sure, it might not last very long, but it'll be fun. And you'll feel better. Everybody wins. Oh, there you go. So I think that's really your issue. John Araki with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much, John Araki. And you got Dax, but not the one you wanted. But not bad, not bad. Uncle Remus says the smell of fear, and Sci-Fi Nation says Bird knows all about free dating apps. Well, not to be honest, not lately. And back in the day when I used the dating apps, I did not use the free one because I just figured those people weren't that serious. Dear Bop, this is gold. So what is this? This is just people are spamming me now? People are spamming me in Dear Bop? William Shatner has made a Christmas album with Henry Rollins and Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop, the Vorta. I could have sworn we've done this one already. Does that sound familiar? It does. We did this one, didn't we? But yeah, the one before it was familiar, but I did a completely different answer. Okay, so it seems like I've been doing some of the ones already. Might have done these already. John Araki with another $1 super chat. Thank you so much. Uncle Ian says the dating app that was on Rick and Morty this week. I don't watch Rick and Morty. Actor says it's a trap. Yeah, it looks like one. It looks like one. And we definitely did this one before. So, when was the last time I did a Dear Bop video? I did a Dear Bop on the 15th. So, what's going on? Are any of these from the 15th? Wednesday. When was Wednesday? Wednesday was the 13th. Jesus. Okay. So, Wednesday and Thursday are probably ones. No. Huh. Well, we did that one. Let's see. Okay, yes, I did this one. Definitely did this one. Huh, I'm sorry. I thought I moved these to the archive. Right, you got one wish from a genie. I wished for a million, infinite number of wishes. And then Dear Mom, yeah, 41 years ago, you brought Little Bop into this world. So, yes, that was... And then I think I did one past it. We did one past it, and then we came back. Okay, this is going in the archive. And now we did, I think, this one. Dear Bop, I spend way too much on YouTube. I can't help it. So many funny videos. I even out on playlists when I sleep. Yes, I definitely did this one. See, I'm talking to someone on YouTube. I think I'm going to go live go live with the Amish. YouTube is crack, a YouTube addict. Okay, yes, I answered this question as well. And I think that is where we stopped last time. So, let's try this again. Okay, this one is new. Dear Bop, this is a pod person. I'm taking your advice and selling most of my belongings. I'm going to quit my crummy job and move out of a pod. Updates as they come, pod person. Pod person, I'm happy to hear you're taking my advice. Yes, get rid of all your stuff and quit your crummy job. Wait. Selling most of my belongings. You're going to quit your crummy job and move out of a pod. Did I tell you to quit your job? Pod person, I might have been too tired. If I told you to quit your job, I was mistaken. Keep your job. Keep your job, but look for a new one. Okay? And what you can do is just stop going into work. If you have to like physically be there, then just stop going. Don't actually quit. Because if you don't quit, there's a chance that they will just keep paying you. Right? It might take a week or a month or a year before they notice. But there's always a chance they keep paying you. If you quit, you lose all chance that they'll know to stop paying you. So I certainly don't quit the job. If you really can't deal with it, just stop going. That's the advice there. But yes, you do want to get out of the pod. You want to buy a house in a rural area, or at least a suburban area. So yes, you do want to sell your stuff, get some money, and get out of the cities. Get out of the cities. Get to the countryside. But don't quit. Just make them stop paying you. That's much better. Thomas Fott says, Bird of Prey, Shatner's Christmas album came out last year. Well, okay. It's still relevant, though, for this year. Uncle Remus says, it's a crap. Actress says, Anti-Trigger did the original Christmas album. He had to sell it under the Roman noses. Uncle Remus says, donate all your stuff to Bird and move in to Bird and Mamo Prey's place. Problem solved. Agnes says you can always live in the basement next to a nuclear reactor. Well, to be honest, I live technically I'm in Queens, but that is a borough of New York City. This is so close. I mean, there's pod people here. You'd probably want to get more rural, a lot more rural than Queens, New York. Although, if you are able-bodied and willing to do some work for a bedroom in a cold basement, we could maybe make a deal. No living under my bed. No, that's just not right. That's Sassy's place. Mr. Miles' Bird of Prey, did you get a chance to watch the video? I did, Mr. Miles. I commented on the video. I saw your comment. I'm sorry, but I was ready to go live. I did watch Anti-Trekker's new Borg video is out. And the editing is again top-notch, Mr. Miles. You have outdone yourself. A whole bunch of little things I noticed. The turd breathing at one point. The butt weight guy shaking back and forth. A lot of how you got those lasers on the Borg face lasers in the background. I don't even know. I have like a lot of this stuff. At least I have a clue of how to do it. I just don't have the patience to do it. But how you got those lasers and those backgrounds to come through like that was freaking amazing. Well done on the editing. As for Anti-Trekker's theory that the Borg came from one-celled organisms, spoiler alert. I'm sorry. I can't spoil it. Okay, I almost spoiled it. I forgot. Not everybody here is a patron of Anti-Trekker. So, let's just say, Mr. Miles, I thought the video itself, production quality-wise, was excellent, but I'd have to disagree with Anti-Trekker on the origin theory of the Borg. That said, it's still a great video to watch. Mr. Miles says, I haven't opened the video link because I'm waiting for comments to build up. Well, I didn't, to be honest, Mr. Miles, I didn't comment to you in the video because I figured I would just message you or, I didn't comment on the quality of the video itself. I commented on one particular line Anti-Tracker mentioned in the video, which I thought was particularly ridiculous, especially coming from Anti-Tracker, who has said something different many times before. But, yes, I almost spoiled it. I am so sorry. I am almost spoiled. I didn't spoil it completely, but I almost did. So, you see, there you go, Mr. Miles. For your part of it, Mr. Miles, I thought it was done great. The Anti-Tracker part of it, I think he may have oversold it. But that's just my opinion. Certainly was fun to watch, though. Okay, Dear Bop. I'm starting my own mob, and I'd like to get your advice, since you are the bird father. What I'd like to know is how many concrete shoes can one bag of concrete make? Signed, Turdistan's Mob. P.S. Do you think you'd be able to make my boss, Thomas Potts, take a long walk off a short pier, since it's the first day of your daughter Freddie's wedding to Frank? You son of a bitch, Turdistan Mob. That's it. Now the Karoga Mob has a vendetta. Vendetta. We're gonna wipe the floor with the Turdistan Mob. Okay, you're done. Your days are over. Okay, you're gonna find a turd head in your bed when you wake up. I don't know what a turd head is exactly, but you're not gonna like it. However, since you did ask nicely at the beginning, the standard 50-pound bag of cement that you get from like a Lowe's or a Home Depot, that's good. It depends. You see, the problem is, if you're cement shoeing like a 110-pound scrawny little guy, you could get away. You could probably get 5 or 6 pairs of cement shoes from a single bag. But if you are cement shoeing, a tall and big, just a nice way of saying a very overweight person, they float much harder, much more than, say, a thin, scrawny guy who's all bones and a little bit of muscle. 'Cause, fat does float. So it really depends on the victims. Like I said, on the high side, if you have some mostly muscle-bound people, not too tall, they don't have a lot of air in their lungs, you could probably get away with 5 to 6 pairs of cement shoes per bag. However, if you go with the bigger people, they take up more volume, that made of lighter materials, and especially if they have, how do we say this? If they have implants that are of a particular material that float, you're going to want to go no more than 2 people per bag, because the worst thing you can do is put somebody on these cement shoes, you drop them in the river, and their natural body fat keeps them floating, and they just have to do a little bit of kicking, not with their feet obviously, but with their hands, like keeping their arms, and they can go underwater just enough for you to leave, but then they come up and they're breathing, and then Coast Guard rescues them, and the next thing you know, your best guys go into prison for life, because he rats them out. You don't want survivors. It's much better you get a whole extra bag of cement. If you're even the slightest bit worried, it won't hurt. Just buy the extra cement, you won't feel bad. Don't ever skimp out on the cement. That's a noob. That's a way. Yeah, that's for newbies. You're a total noob. If you mafia noob. If you skip out on the concrete, and then your so-called victim ends up swimming to the surface and gets rescued, and then you just become the laughingstock of the mafia community, or you would if there was a mafia, but there isn't. So, Miss Mouse's, I read that. Miss Mouse's Vendetta, lol. Josh Street, lols. Actress is Van Damta. Joseph says, Mr. Miles, it's the stepsister of Van Halen. Wesley says, greetings, birds, turds, and space nerds. Greetings, Wesley. Cinnabon says, fat people float harder. They do. Actually, they float easier, to be technically true. Uncle says, bird, is this stream culturally sensitive? Of course we're culturally sensitive. We're sensitive to all cultures. I don't give a shit about what people think, but I'm sensitive to it. Mr. Londell says, greetings and felicitations. Hip hip hurrah, tally ho. Actress says, when they bloat, Cinnabon, they bloat bigger. Uncle Remus says, floaters. Yeah, you don't want to have floaters. Josh Reed says, I have at my home about 200 kilograms or 440 pounds of cement. Well, that's excellent, Joseph. You could, let's see, 2 to 50, 8, 9. You could comfortably get 9 to 10 people of any size in cement shoes with that amount of cement. However, the Turdistan's mob's days are numbered for being so disrespectful. Dear Bop, YouTube sucks. A great creator, Erkshire Gaming, had her YouTube channel hacked, and Team YouTube is totally worthless. Can you spread the word to get people to harass the shit out of YouTube on Twitter? Please. Well, I went to her channel, and it seems she's back. She is indeed back.
Okay.
It says,
the cake wasn't a lie. It is becoming a reality.
It says, YouTube channel hack, but now I'm back, and we're baking a 20K celebration cake. Good for her. Good for her. You see, you asked, and even though I wasn't online, still, Dear Bop worked in the background and got her channel back.
I didn't make it over here today, so I am alone at home. Gonna bake this cake with you guys, so I'm not really alone. We're going to do this together to celebrate.
Aw, she's gonna bake a cake for me. I mean, I didn't hear her say for me, but I'm sure that's what she meant. So good for her. You know what? I'm gonna give her a like, even though I'm not watching the full video. But there you go. You asked, whoever you are, and I have delivered. I have delivered. John Street says, is Thomas still here, or did Bird already get him? No comment. Mr. Miles says, Joseph, it's like being specifically non-specific. Actor, she looks like a very real gamer girl. She does. She does. Joseph is vaguely exciting, so Mr. Chief Engineer. Vaguely exciting? Vaguely exactly. Oh, vaguely exactly. Okay. So, I think this is going to be the last one for today, but before you say, no, understand, look at these. 1 kilobyte, 1 kilobyte, 1 kilobyte, 1,007 bytes, 1 kilobyte, 1 kilobyte, 1 kilobyte, 3 kilobytes. This is a much bigger one. than all the others. So no, don't boo me yet. This one, I have a feeling it's going to take a while. Dear Bop, after being unemployed for the past 5 months, trying to find a job for the majority of that time, and also driving for Uber, have just worn me down to ask the question, why should I care? Why should I continue to try to search for a job that I'll just be searching for again in another 6 months? Driving for Uber and Lyft just barely keeping me afloat, if you can even call it that. And I was about to hit the tipping point of being extremely honest and just accepting a reality. I'll sleep during the day, wake up for the afternoon, then drive at night, rinse and repeat. The same repetitive cycle of events day after day. Personal life is not much better, but to keep it pretty short, I usually talk to my mom, my one friend who lives on the other side of town, and my roommate, and even then, those interactions are scarce. The only interactions I have are online and through YouTube. I'm feeling trapped. Short of giving up, selling my house, and moving back in with my mom, I'm at a frustrated loss. In addition to finding a job and lack of social norms, I talk to recruiter after recruiter, repeating the same story of experience over and over again, only to find out I'm not even close to qualify for the job. And so part of me just wants to bail on the whole job hunt and just give in. Give in to the lackluster schedule, continue to be a slave to my student loans, my credit card debt, and then just saying screw it and get high, marijuana only. I just exist. I exist to take up space, feed my cat, and watch the world crumble in on itself. I haven't hit rock bottom yet, and for me that's living on the streets, pooping in a box. Sounds funny, but that's rock bottom for me. I have nowhere else to go. The best place for me would be prison, because at least I'd have a roof and then just wait out the time. I don't want that. There are far worse fates out there, but that situation is what I'm trying to avoid right now. It's difficult just trying to figure out what gets me up in the morning aside from having to take a trip to the bathroom. What I can do to help myself that I simply won't ignore and rationalize the lack of performing that action. Thank you, and I hope your day is better than mine. And there was no name here. However, I am aware of some, it could be more than one people on here that do drive for Uber. What can I do to help myself? What can I do to help myself that I simply won't ignore and rationalize the lack of performing that action? So, yeah, as you can see, this is actually a pretty serious Dear Bop, which is fine. First, understand, I understand you've been unemployed for the past months. There's been a family member that I'm close with that has been unemployed for 11 months. And just now finally getting a job, although they still have to technically pass a background check, although that seems, we have no reason to think they won't. It's a possibility. And they were looking, and people keep telling them, oh, the economy's doing so great, You kind of feel like there must be something wrong with you if you can't get a job where people keep telling you the economy is great. And let me tell you something about the economy. As much as I am a fan of President Trump, the economy is not doing as great as people claim it is. I don't know why that this is the one lie or the one thing that the media actually tries to help Trump with by putting out this thing that the economy is doing great. The economy is not doing great. Okay? The economy is not doing great. It might not be as bad as it could have been, but the economy is doing like crap. In the last few years, we've lost Toys R Us, right? We've lost 3 or 4 other major retailers, whose names I forget at the moment, but just gone. Sears. Now, you can say Sears was on its way, Toys R Us was on its way, and so there's these other companies were on their way. But if they couldn't survive, even with the tax cuts they got under Trump, then they were under. I mean, how the hell you can't survive? Toys R Us, you have a monopoly almost on the toy selling business. Granted, you've got Walmarts and Targets; they have toy sections, and Amazon has a toy section. But Jesus Christ, you're an entire store right to toys, and you still can't keep yourself afloat. The economy is not doing good. There might be small sections of the economy they're doing better than others, but it is not as good as everybody claims it to be. So I'm not surprised that you weren't able to get a job immediately. There are people very well qualified for jobs who think they could have got a job. They keep hearing, the economy. They think, I'll quit my job, I'll get a new one in a couple of weeks, and it turns out to be almost a year later before they get a job. So I think you might have been a little bamboozled by thinking that the new job was around the corner. Whereas if people were really thinking the economy was in the state it was, back in 2008, I don't think it was that bad now, but it's certainly not as good as it was before that. It wasn't as good as it was in the early 2000s. You okay?
Can I cut in?
Yes, Mamo Pray would like to cut in. Come on in, Mamo Pray.
Well, I don't know the age of the person that sent you the letter.
Right.
But I'm going to assume that they are younger than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And though I did not do it much myself, I mean, I did go back to school. But find something you're really interested in. Anything that piques your interest. And if you're not qualified for a job in that field, possibly there's some kind of course you could take to get qualified. I realize when you're down and depressed, the idea of going back to school for years,
adding to your student debt,
is not optimal. I understand that, but there are, I don't know, what do you call them? Certificate courses, anything to get. If you love what you're doing, it's not a job anymore.
Right, but let me just.
Yeah.
If what you love is art history, you're going to be in for a bad day.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I was just saying that might have been, people get sold on these degrees and like, I went through 4 years of college, I have $100,000 in student debt, and I have a degree in comparative women's studies.
Okay.
Well, now, where do I get my job? I'm sorry. Here, do you want fries with that? That's your job. The world doesn't need people who are experts in comparative literature.
Okay, common sense needs to come into play, because I don't know of anyone that can do without a paycheck for a very long time. I'm not in that financial bracket that, I think we're talking people that need to make a living to pay their bills to go on with life. But you need to find that spark, whatever that spark is, in yourself. I mean, you could always become another, and pardon the pun, another Berto Prey 5. He found his spark.
Oh, this isn't paying the bills.
No.
This isn't paying the bills.
No, that was a joke. But before that, you need to look inside yourself, I think. On that note, I wish I could help more.
Okay, thank you, Mama Pray. Lori Roberts, welcome, Lori Roberts. Lori Roberts says, Amazon. Yeah, I know Amazon's the big bite out of Toys R Us, but they got a pretty damn big tax break. And if they still couldn't pull themselves out of it, hell, sell half your stores if you have to. But you can't keep the company floating. Then there's a serious problem. And it could have been management. I'm sure management wasn't good. But we lost a lot of businesses in the last few years. Every one of them that went under. And I'm surprised the president isn't getting more of a beating over losing this company. And Lori says NYC is booming. Lori, NYC is booming to a point. I mean, I live in New York City. Okay, yes, there was jobs, but the city is on the verge of falling apart. The property values, the tax rates are going out of control. The Rikers Island is going to be shut down, right? They're going to release all the crazies from Rikers Island. It's going to be the 1970s and 80s all over again in New York City. You're going to have prostitutes on the street again, walking up and down Times Square, Broadway. We're literally going back to 1970s and 1980s, the hell that inspired The Escape from New York. We're just years away from that, and we're firmly going down that path. San Francisco already filled with human feces. Okay, you can't be living in a major city and be thinking, hey, this city isn't moving in the right direction. Okay, tell me, what major city are you living in where you're saying, yes, this is the city of the future. This is a city that's got its plans down. I don't think they're out there. Okay, I don't think there's any such city out there. I think every city is getting progressively worse. And I would say every city is worse than it was 5 years ago, definitively. And if you're in a city that is definitively better than it was 5 years ago, please let me know, because I want to know. I'm certainly curious. Okay, I doubt that New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, Miami, the biggest cities I can think of, I don't think any of them, Phoenix, Jesus Christ, poor Phoenix, Vegas, none of them can say, I think, that they're in a better place now than they were 5 years ago. Certainly New York City is not. So you could say it's booming, but Lori Roberts says, that's a bad deal for us. Bring back Rudy. I wish, Lori. I mean, the only hope I have is that it took Rudy Giuliani 2 terms to turn this city from a shithole into a good place to live again. And hopefully we don't wait another 30 or 40 years before we elect someone like him again. However, right now, we are nowhere near electing anyone like Rudy. But yes, I'm just surprised how quickly it can be brought back if you have the right person in the job. But getting back to this dear Bob, listen, whoever you are, and honestly, I know you're anonymous, so I do not judge you. I'm not judging you, but I know you're not going to like this particular part of my response. So please don't judge me. I'm just telling you how I see it. I think one of the biggest problems here is what you say in this line. And then I just keep saying, screw it and get high. Marijuana only. The problem with marijuana is that you smoke it and, yeah, you don't feel so bad. It takes the edge off. You're not getting as depressed maybe. You're not hitting that rock bottom because you've got marijuana there to make your life feel better for a little bit. And I'm sorry. I know I'm in the minority here, but I am very against marijuana. Okay? I don't think anybody, maybe if you have chronic pain, or a condition, a medical condition, a serious medical condition, not a bullshit medical condition, but if you have a serious medical condition of chronic pain or epilepsy, where there's legit research and saying, yeah, marijuana helps, or something, maybe. Cancer patients, sure. But, as recreational, as people I know people who literally tell me they self-medicate themselves with marijuana for all these various ailments they think they have. And they just turn into people who don't care. Once you start smoking marijuana, you don't care about shit, including yourself. And you're probably never going to get so upset and so angry you're going to break out of it and say enough is enough and do something to turn your life around. If you can just know that, hey, you're going to go smoke marijuana at the end of the day, and you're not going to care in a couple hours. And I hope that doesn't sound cold, but you need to stop the marijuana. You need to hit that breaking point. Not so that you break, but so that you realize you will not live with this. You don't want to live feeling the way you do. And only then will you get that spark of inspiration, or will you make the move, whatever has been holding you back, or do something because you finally feel so tired of the way you are that you have to do something to change your life, that you actually do it. Okay, so you honestly want, what is the best piece of advice I could give you after reading this whole thing and everything about your life? And granted, I don't know all the details, but the honorable, honest, God honest truth of the very best piece of advice I would give you is to stop smoking marijuana, and the rest of it will follow. Now, if you have a disease or you have chronic pain, that's different, okay? I will grant you that's different. You're probably better off of marijuana than addicted to pain pills. I would imagine. But if you don't have a serious physical condition, a physical ailment, cut this out. Cut that part out, and it might be a month, it might be a year, but eventually you will, your body will just, I don't know how to explain it. Your body will force you. Your body will either force you to get better, because it will not have the marijuana to take the sting away, to take the pain away. It's a coping mechanism. It's like when the therapists say, "Oh, you're an enabler." Marijuana is an enabler. It enables people to live shitty lives and not fight back and not fight to improve themselves. And to be honest, I think that's a lot of the reason why the government why their government is pushing in many places to make it legal. Because these people, particularly in cities where life gets to be shitty. Okay? Life gets to be shitty in many cities where people are only used as pawns to go to work just so that they can pay taxes back to the city and just, rinse, wash, and repeat. And they don't want people to think freely. They don't want people to think outside the box. They don't want people to question authority. They don't want people to try to change things. They want to keep the status quo, and they know that marijuana is probably the easiest way to do that. pass out the marijuana, let people get high, and they're not going to care that they're taxed high. They're not going to care that they live in squalor, that their houses, their neighborhoods are falling apart, that people are sick on the streets, that taxes are going up, because it's gonna make them forget. They're going to be in their happy place for a few hours a day, and they're like, okay, well, this is my life now. I work, I get some marijuana, I smoke, I eat, I smoke again, I eat, I sleep, and I rinse, and I go back another day, and they're happy enough. And that's the problem. You don't want to be happy enough. It's artificial, and that's the best thing I can do. As for, yes, if you could get a job in something you liked, then yes, obviously that's the best thing you could do. But let's face it, not everybody gets to work in the job they like. I wish it was true, but if that was true, who the hell likes being the janitor, right? I mean, some people might, but who the hell likes being the busboy? Who the hell likes being... I mean, it's very hard for me to say. Well, I don't know. Because honestly, there are times I know people who like being garbage men. I like people who like working outdoors to a point. But, you know, there are shitty jobs out there. People have to do them. But hopefully those people don't have to do them for long. However, you might not get a job you love, but you might get a job that you can live with. And if it pays enough that you can keep yourself a hobby, okay? A hobby that keeps you grounded, a hobby whether it's raising animals or hiking or traveling or writing or whatever it is, painting. You find out some type of hobby that can give your life meaning. Then you're okay. You people can live with that, right? You don't have to work as being a paint. If you love to paint, okay, but you're not going to be a professional painter, well, you don't have to be, okay? If you can find a job that you enjoy enough, maybe it's not painting, maybe you go into graphic artists or something, and you use your eye for things, and so you're only going to make $25 a job. And, it's not going to make you a millionaire, but it pays your bills. And it pays for you to buy canvases every week. And pays for paints. And pays for clean brushes. You can be happy with that. You can be happy with that. As for your social life, you talk to your mom, your one friend who lives on the other side of town, and your roommate. Well, I assume you're not all that interested in talking to your roommate. Otherwise, you'd probably talk some more. Your mom, that's good. I think you should talk to your mom. And you have one friend on the other side of town. Does your one friend, does he or she have other friends? Because usually they do. So tell your friend, like, hey, I don't know what the deal is, but be honest with them. Say, listen, it's just you, and I feel like I have nobody else in my life. I'd love to, hang out one day when you go out with your other friends or something. Tag along. Ask to tag along. They're not going to say no. Maybe you'll make some more friends. Or maybe you think they're all assholes, and you'll say, forget that. But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to ask. I mean, if your one friend has no other friends and you two are the only friends in each other's lives, then you should both go out to somewhere and try and meet some people or do something. Go to a club, do some type of club or meetup where I don't know if you have pets or you have, you want to go on a night walking tour of your city or wherever you are, or you want to go hiking or all types. If you Facebook, if you Google search, they do all types of meetups for people in all places. Whatever you want to do. You want to go to a casino. You want to go, backpacking. It doesn't matter. You can find something. Photography. you can find something you're probably interested at least a little in doing. And talk to people. They're there for the same reasons you are, to meet people and to have fun. So it's not hard to make friends at those places. Now, I'm sorry this hasn't been a cut and dry answer, but there's a lot of things that were brought up here. And let me just make sure I've hit a little bit of it all. So you have a cat. So you know what? There are definitely events for cat people out there. There are definitely lots of groups around that base their lives over cats. Okay? So you do good for your cat, if nobody else. And honestly, if you're pooping in a box, that's not rock bottom yet. The people in San Francisco don't even have a box. They just poop right onto the street. Yeah, I get you. You don't want to get there. You don't want to get there. And prison is not where you want to be either. If you were in prison, who would take care of your cat? And yes, there are worse fates out there than prison. I've thought over the years, after 2 or 3 years, after I was in this hospital bed, I said, well, if I got better next year, because I always felt like I was at least a year away from getting better. But like I said, if everything started going well and I got better next year, it would be the equivalent of me being in prison for 4 years or 5 years. Away from everybody, away from everything. But there are people who get out of prison and then lead, full lives. At least I've known a few who have. I wouldn't recommend it, but it is possible. So I would think to myself, okay, well, it's not the worst thing in the world if I got better now. I only missed X number of years. And I assume you're driving for Uber, so you are still physically able to walk and to drive and to do those things. So please don't waste that. Please don't waste that smoking marijuana and feeling bad about yourself and your life. You should, listen, feeling bad is fine, but you've got to use that and focus it into something. If you want to do a follow up and give me some more specifics, I'd be happy to try to use those to help more. But I don't know a lot of your details. I don't know what was your school in. You got student loans. Did you get a degree? If so, what's the degree in? Was it a field that you enjoyed? Stuff like that. So the best piece of advice I can do is to honestly to give up the marijuana. And I hope your day is better than mine. Well, I woke up. I had to call the Mamo Pray to physically help me turn in my hospital bed so I could do the things you do when you run into the bathroom. And then after an hour or so, I turned back. Then I had to ask Mamo Pray to get me food because I can't get my own food. Then I asked to turn again because then I couldn't get back to the bathroom. And then I turned back and then I waited for a dentist to come. And then the dentist came, sat up next to my bed, and put the music blasting on Alexa so Mamo Pray wouldn't have to hear the noises going on in my mouth as he drilled my various teeth and did the things he was going to do. Truth be told, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it certainly wasn't fun. And then I asked Mamo Pray to turn a third time. Then I turned back, and then I started this drain. So I really hope your day is going better than mine, because as much as I try to put on a happy face And, I do enjoy doing YouTube. I do enjoy talking to you guys. I do enjoy doing videos. I do enjoy talking about Star Trek and all these theories and all that great stuff. The time that the camera is off, the camera's off for reasons. And those are not reasons that most people want to hear about. And even if they did want to hear about, I don't really want to talk about. But trust me, they're not great. They are not great reasons. So you are, even if I was, I don't have, right now, I don't even know how I would get another job. I haven't worked for 10 years. Okay, I haven't had a real job for 10 years. If I magically got better tomorrow, it scares the shit out of me. How the hell would I get a job today? I've seen how much the workplace has changed, economies have changed. I mean, when I got a job with a company. It didn't have an HR department. It had a lady whose one of her many titles was she did what HR stuff did. And I couldn't imagine working for a company with an HR department these days. And that's like every company. Okay. And I don't want to work for a tiny company. But they don't make, medium-sized companies, big companies without HR departments anymore. And like HR is the complete opposite of everything I think and believe in. Like, I don't think company should need an HR department, personally. So I don't know what I'd do if I had to get a job today. It freaks me out. One day, if I cross that bridge, it comes to that. It's the kind of problem I hope I have, because I'll find a way to deal with it. But yeah, getting a job is scary. It is scary AF. So don't feel bad that it's taking you time, because I think it's taking a lot more people time than the media likes to admit. No, you don't sell the cat to a local Chinese restaurant, Uncle Remus. And I was looking away. From the chat for the vast majority of that. So let me go back, and I'm sorry to Uber driver, but I hope some of that helps, and I hope you don't take it too personally that I told you to stop smoking the weed. Thomas Potts, Mr. Miles. I'm just going through the @BirdoPray5s to figure out where I was. Floaters, she looks like a real gamer girl. Mike Richards says greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. And Joseph Patrick says, wow, this one is serious, not funny, not easy. Nope, indeed. And then we talked about Amazon. Mr. Londell says, depending where you live, the economy is doing great. Want a job, move away from California, the East Coast. The South is kicking ass when it comes to jobs. I would say must be, because it's not the best here. It's not terrible, but it's not the best, and it's only going to get worse. And Lori Roberts says, yes, no liberal arts. The greatest scam, the biggest scam of the latter half of the 20th and first half of the 21st century is that getting a college degree equals money, right? It didn't matter what degree you got. That was such bull, huh?
I said, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was the biggest amount of bull crap. I mean, it's basically false advertising. Why does the government even allow that to happen? I'm not one for an interventionist government, but we have laws against false advertising. Okay? We have laws against that. And it's government money being used, right? The government uses, sends money. The government pays grants and scholarships and loans for students to put all this money into academia, and they come out with a worthless degree, and then the government makes them pay it back. Even though they don't get, if you don't get a job inside your degree, maybe you shouldn't have to pay back your college. I mean, I know there's got to be more to that, because then people would purposely not get a job in their degree. But there should be some way of saying, hey, we should only give money if it's a good investment. Okay? And there's a lot of jobs out there that don't require a college degree. But for stupid reasons, companies are putting in, oh, it's got to be a college degree, because you know why? It's a bunch of college people that got jobs, and they don't want to make their college degree look like crap. So even though a job doesn't require a college degree, they still put in the fact that you must have a college degree in the requirements, just to artificially inflate their own value. There are so many jobs that there's absolutely zero reason you need a 4-year degree or even a 2-year degree, but they write it in to the minimum requirements that you have a 4-year degree. If you need a 4-year degree and they don't care what the degree is in, that's a job where you do not need a 4-year degree. That's just bullshit. Mr. Miles says, I went through 7 months of self-taught video editing and slowly but surely turning it into a career. Yes. I mean, you can learn almost any trade. Dare I say it, almost any trade by watching YouTube videos these days. Okay? We have used YouTube videos on how to fix a refrigerator, how to fix a washing machine, how to fix a bad broken air conditioner in our truck. Mama Pray and I watch the video. I tell her what to do, and she does it. And I had no experience fixing air conditioners or refrigerators or whatever the hell, washing machines. But we did it with just YouTube, Mama Pray's pair of hands, and mostly her brain. But then when she got stuck, I would help her out. So it's possible. I mean, you can learn so much for free right now, just online. You could learn for free. Cinnabon Bunny says they have mountains of debt. They do. And Miss Mouse says, well, no, Doctor Who merch still sells well, just not the new stuff. Josh says there are more empty buildings all over NYC. Lori Roberts says that's a bad deal for us. Bring back Rudy, indeed. Rudy. Miss Lundell says brick and mortar periods are having a bad time. You can't blame Trump for Toys R Us. It's been dead for several years. AOC killed Amazon deal. Yep. AOC killed the Amazon deal. Well, she was part of it. It wasn't her personally, but she was part of it. And I mean, that's the proof right there. New York City's gone crazy. They're literally throwing out giant corporations that were going to have jobs averaging salaries of $150,000 or more because that's too good, right? That's too good. You don't want to bring in people who can actually pay their bills. That's the problem, and it's crazy. Jazzy Bird of Prey, we need to start getting ready to film the movie Bird of Prey 5's Escape from New York City. Maybe soon. Mama Prey says she wishes. Mr. Miles says my city is better because of legalization. Oh, Mr. Miles. Miss Londell says every city is progressively worse because they're being run by liberal Democrats. Well, that's... Lori Roberts says so he can't pass a drug test. That cuts out. It does. I wasn't even thinking about drug tests. But, yeah. Josh Reed says Bird is lost in a bird rant. Rock Solid says no notification, unsubbing, son of a bitch. Rock Solid says remember to smash that like button, share via social, set chat to live, turn mic and camera on before going live, donate if you can, join the subscribe star, don't abuse emojis, and down with Turdistan. Thank you, Rock Solid. Miss Mouse says the government is pushing to make it legal, laughing. Local governments are, Mr. Miles, yes. Josh Street says, Rock Solid, you should watch the stream about 30 minutes, 40 seconds for a good bird quote, or minus 30, 40. Lori Roberts, I smoke weed every night, but am not job hunting. Well, if you're in a good place in your life and you want to smoke weed, I guess I'm still anti-weed, but whatever. Mr. Miles says, well, I'm not going to hold it against somebody if they're happy with their life. But if you're not happy with your life, then definitely don't keep smoking weed. Uncle Eva says, I would never live in a big city unless I was able to secure a huge salary somewhere. Rock Solid will have to go back and watch that, John Street. John Street says, Rock Solid, there's a rant against Kurdistan mob. Mike Richards says, this stream is so demonetized. Yeah, they demonetized the stream the other day, and I had no idea why. I'm like, whatever. It's not like I make anything from the ad revenue. Ms. Mouse's lesson to take from this, don't ask Bob serious questions like this. I gave my serious answer, Mr. Miles. Uncle Remus says, jizz mopper. You know, there's somebody out there who wants to be a jizz mopper. It's not me. It is not me, but somewhere, somebody wants to be a jizz mopper. Rock Solid says, holy shoot, this is an epic bird rant. Mr. Miles, he's blaming depression on pot, looking at it as if it's the source of the issues. No, I'm not blaming it on the pot, but I'm saying the pot makes it bearable. The pot makes it more bearable. That's the problem. Uncle Remus says, go buy crack. No crack, no illegal drugs. And for that matter, try to stay away from legal drugs unless you absolutely need them. Rock Solid says cats are assholes. That's not what this is about. Take the cat for a walk to the dog park, says Uncle Remus. Rock Solid says feed the cat to the dog. Okay, this is not helping. Uncle Remus says get 20 cats and open up a cat lounge. Have you been watching Family Guy, Uncle Remus? Miss Lundell says then feed the dog. No, I'm not saying that. That's late. Jesus Christ. Okay. No, this is toxic chat. Toxic chat. Lori just hit her cat. Very good, Lori. Very good. Uncle says Kevin Smith is high all the time and he's doing okay. Well, you know, when you get to that point in life, it's different. Lori says with the liquid pens, lots of people are high all the time. Yeah, and lots of people are getting strokes. Thomas Preston says 23 watching and 16 likes and 1 dislike. Oh, thank you for the update, Thomas Preston. Yosef says cats are great. Daniel's Hot Topics is Bird of Prey. I'm addicted to a drug called Jessica Dully. Jessica Dully, huh? I can't say that I know who Jessica Dully is. Let's see. Let's see if the Google knows who Jessica Dully is. I don't know if that's is that the drug you're addicted to? If that's so, Daniel's Hot Topics, I guess, oh shoot. No, where were we? Where were we? There we are. If that's so, Daniel's, good for you. Mr. Lundell says, you strike me as one resilient son of a bitch, Bird of Prey. You will make it if no one else does. I wish I could say that, but completely dependent on other people is not the way you want to live your life. Mr. Mouse says, what I'd say to this person, get away from Uber. Also look into seeing a therapist. They won't fix anything, but they can help. Even if it doesn't help, at least you know what doesn't work. Mike Richards says, cats rule, dogs drool. Rock Solid says, dogs have owners, cats have staff. That sounds like somebody who has had a cat in the past. Rock Solid says, I don't have a college degree. My brother doesn't, and he makes 6 figures. He works his ass off and owns his own business, but still. Joseph says, Rock Solid, my dogs and cats have a slave in me. Rock Solid, I taught myself how to edit videos and use Photoshop. Lori says, even if you cat could text you, even if your cat could text you, it wouldn't. Yeah, I would agree. And the dog would be sending selfies all day. Look, I'm posing in front of the water bowl. Look, I'm posing in front of the food. Look, I'm posing in front of this poop I just made. And that's not just anti-tracker. That's the dog. Joseph says bird learned singing with the help of YouTube. That's right. If I can learn how to sing, anybody can learn how to do anything. Roxanne says that sounds kinky. Joseph, I don't want to know if you're on... Okay, wow. Joseph says he's all over the place. Vile Mike says, okay, I'm back. Bird seems to have gone nuts. Lol. Roxanne says, if you think NYC is bad, you should check out Illinois. Yeah, well, I certainly not in any way want to go to Chicago. Trek95 says, Bird of Prey, sorry, I didn't get a notification. I'm sorry to hear that, Trek95, but I'm happy you're here now. Vile Mike says, last time I went to NYC, it was under Obama. It did not seem that bad. I live in San Diego. I barely make it out with my income. And when it comes to houses, but its tangential benefits went to Texas. Well, Vile Mike, I would tell you, New York City wasn't all that bad 4, 5, 6 years ago, even 3 years ago. But it's not, it wasn't Obama or Bush that, the president has very little effect on New York City. It's the mayor. It's the mayor and the city council. And ever since we elected de Blasio, the longer he's had to undo all the changes that Giuliani had made, and for the most part, Bloomberg, as terrible as he was smart enough to keep most of Giuliani's changes in place. Except, he cracked down more on gun control. Not that Giuliani was any fan of guns, but Bloomberg cut even more down on gun control. But he kept in place many of Giuliani's other things, which was making the city livable and good, and is the reason the city was in a boom, and the reason why real estate prices went up so much. But now we are circling the bowl, okay? And like anybody who doesn't understand that we're about to be sucked under and flushed away, I don't know how else to point it out to you. They think that that's not going to happen. It is. It is. We are circling the bowl, and at any moment we're about to get sucked down and flushed. There's not going to be a lot here in a couple of years. Rock Solid says, Bird of Prey, just said it. It's me. No, I did not say it. Ms. Lindo says, all the proponents of weed don't realize how dangerous this stuff it is to the human body. A joint has more tar and nicotine than 1 pack of Marlboro. I don't know the relative dangers physically in terms of nicotine. I honestly don't know that there's nicotine in marijuana. If it is, that would be the first I've heard. But that's not what I'm concerned about. Val Mike says, for a month 2 years ago, 1 flood and tornadoes in the area. Trek 95 says, how far behind is Bird? Oh, I wasn't even reading. Vile Mike says, Mr. Lindell, should we ban all things that are bad for you? No, obviously we should not. Wesley says, wow, Bird of Prey, what am I listening to here? You're listening to the real Bird of Prey. Mr. Miles says, Carl Sagan smoked a lot of pot too. Well, Trek 95 says, ask why not Alexa. Roxod says, only about 10 minutes behind Trek 95. And Trek 95 says, what a record. Wow, a record. Uncle Remus says, President Clinton smoked pot but never inhaled. Marie Joseph says, really, Mr. Miles, when he got sick or before? Vile says, did I see a porn tab there? No, you did not see a xnxx.com, Freddie and Frank. We got a new subscriber. Quiche Stick just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. If you're here, welcome. If you're not here, welcome anyway. Glad to have you on board. Trek 95 says, Vile Mike, behave, lol or not. Miss Mouse says, Joseph Patrick, after he said why not, he's after he got sick, but pretty early into finding out he was sick. Are we still talking about Bill Clinton? Josh reads his bird singing. Well, at least it's better than Lore singing. Vile Mike says, I'm just asking about what his bird has on his other tabs. And he is commenting what I think I saw. Joseph says, okay, it's more understandable. Why not is the right approach, Mr. Miles. Track95 says, I know this is late, but Bird has gone nuts. He lives there. Mr. Miles says, Joseph, it changed his mind about pot, though. He used to be against it. Thought it made people stupid. Miss Lundell says, de Blasio, liberal Democrat. I rest my case. And Mr. Miles says, even in his final days, that guy was way smarter than I am. Vile Mike says, Giuliani is a freaking nuttier than a squirrel droppings now. Have you seen the interviews he's given? Yeah. Listen, Giuliani in the 90s was a different person. Lori Roberts says, Bloomberg took away the big gulp. Well, he tried. It got overturned by the courts. Uncle Remus says, when Giuliani was mayor, he cleaned up New York. De Blasio is a joke. Yep. Joseph Bird of Prey just got the notification. Wow. Uncle Remus says, just like Murphy in New Jersey is a joke. Circling the drain is so true. Wesley's Bird of Prey, I agree that pot is really bad to those who overuse, especially teenagers. Well, you might want to keep that opinion to yourself, Wesley, because it's not a popular one to have. Joseph says the new subscriber sounds German. Kex's biscuit dick means you don't know the meaning of it put together. Okay. Anyway, guys, I do have to get ready for physical therapy. I'm happy we got a serious entry, and I honestly hope. Listen, you can disagree with me all you want, but I've given you my honest opinion and my honest feelings on the issue. Do with it what you will, you know? Do with it what you will. Vile Mike says, it's funny. Liberals want to take shit away because it's bad for you. Conservatives want to take shit away because it's bad for you. Both want to limit free speech in differing areas. Can we just dump both? I've often said that the best thing that could happen to this country, regardless of who was president, is an asteroid hit Washington, D.C. during the State of the Union. And I know that's not going to be popular. And yes, there's going to be some very good people that die, but it will wipe out all the career politicians.
Wasn't that a TV show?
There was a TV show where terrorists blew up. Right. Designated survivor.
Yeah.
But I don't want terrorism, okay? No, I'm not in any way talking about terrorism. That would be very, very bad. It would be a completely natural act of God, however. If an asteroid that NASA couldn't track just happened to hit in the vicinity of the Capitol building during the State of the Union address, yes, we'd lose a lot of good people, but we'd lose a lot more bad people.
No. Isn't AOC in Congress?
Yes.
What if she survives?
I don't care if she survives. You're saying, what if she's the designated survivor?
Yeah.
I think the designated survivor is usually of your own party. But even if she was the designated survivor, I don't care. She's just one person. She's just one person. Mamo Frey is afraid AOC would be the designated survivor. We can deal. If it's just one person, we can deal with whoever's left. We need fresh blood. We need fresh blood. Oh. That's fine. Wesley says, it's bird of prey. I don't care what anyone thinks. Uncle Remus says, it's sad what Giuliani has become. He has soiled his legacy. Joseph says, enjoy the therapy. It's good for you. And get out of the bed. Thank you, Joseph. Track 95 says, Wesley, I agree with you. Uncle Remus says, take care, bird. Do it. Take care, all. Joseph says, who did not like the stream? Fix it. Trek 95 says, Bird of Prey, how do you like physical therapy? I do not. I do not like physical therapy, but I know I have to deal with it, Trek 95. I'm not going to tell you I like physical therapy. I do not. Mr. Miles says, pot, like anything else, can be abused, but yes, like many other things, it can also be treated responsibly. It's your opinion. You're free to have it. Wesley says, Trick 95, I watched my brother smoke in younger years away. His younger years away. Mr. Miles says, if you see someone with a drink, you don't just instantly think he must be a loser. No, but if I see someone smoking pot, I do. And yes, I could be wrong, but I still think it. Violet Like says, later, folks, and yes, there are some really high top people that smoke pot. But my first instinct is they're a loser. They can change my mind. It's happened. But that's the first thought. Violet Mike says, later, folks, have a good insert relevant time period here. Check the eBay store for over 100 listings are 10% off right now. Also, new episodes of TOS Reviews will be up Sunday and has a special guest. And don't forget to check Caddy's Corner on eBay. So anything in there goes to the vile child. And Lori Roberts says term limits would work also. Except, Lori, I am fundamentally against term limits. I wish the people would be the term limits. We shouldn't need term limits.
You got one down vote.
Yeah, I know I have a downvote. It's okay. Downvotes happen. Mr. Miles says, but pot still has a stigma with some people. Yep. And while the trust of a nation of potheads over a nation of alcoholics any day, but alcohol is perfectly legal, society hasn't crashed. Well, it almost crashed when it became illegal. And it has caused crime that we still have to this day. But alcohol has been with the people since the beginning of civilization. Miss Lundell says, in that scenario, Bird of Prey, chances are we'd get a total freaking idiot running things. Or not. Violet Mike says, I wouldn't mind AOC being president for a year or so. Finally have a president we can fap to. Lol. Uncle Remus says, AOC, another joke. Wesley says, Bird of Prey, I didn't mean I don't care about how others feel or ideas. That's fine. Daniel's Hot Topics says, Bird of Prey, go on YouTube and type in Jessica Dully. Only because I'm so curious. Jessica Dully. Save Jessica Dully's Dazazio on Radio 2UE or Jessica Dully channel. 7 subscribers. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we're going for here, Daniel. Vile likes is too late, Mr. Lundell. Josh reads his thumbs down is from the Turtistan mob, probably. Wesley says Master Miles said it better. Trek 95 says smoking pot for medical reasons is different. Tiki of Doom says G-Spurred sounds like my dad. Rock Solid says still no further Ask Bop emails. Still stuck on this one. Well, that was the last one for the day, Rock Solid. I'm going to have to do the rest in an off, in a non-live video. Josh reads his Bird of Prey. If it was the super weed from Half Baked was the only thing that could make you walk again, would you smoke it? If it had a legitimate medical purpose, then as I said, I would. That's different. But you have to have a legitimate medical purpose. Vile Mike says, thanks for adding that bit, Bird of Prey, about Caddy's Corner. I am sure she appreciates that. No problem. Joseph says, rock solid, this is the last one for today. Lori says, me too, drunks are dangerous. Only when they're driving, or have a gun, or get angry. Mr. Vile says, Bird of Prey, pot has been with people just as long. Only in recent human history has a stigma attached to it. You've grown up in that era. I disagree, Mr. Miles. Uncle Remus' Mama Pray, did you get the downvote? Did you give the downvote? Track 95, I think Mama Pray gave the downvote, lol. Violent Mike's Bird of Prey can be argued that cannabis use is far older than alcohol use in human history. No, it really can't, Vile. I'm sorry. They were using cannabis before they made beer? Where?
The Indians.
The Indians?
Yeah, they smoked a peace pipe.
The Indians weren't around before beer was being made in Mesopotamia. Roxots is glad to see Urker Gaming on your home screen on YouTube. Bird of Prey, she's awesome. Well, she's only on it because it was earlier in the stream. Somebody asked me to check out her channel. I do not usually listen to her. Honestly, I never knew she existed before today. Joseph says, Mama Pray, hi. Roxots says, no, do it now. I'll super chat if you do. Do what? Do what? You want me to do one more? You'll super chat if I do one more? It could be a very short one. I don't think you. It's okay. Track 95 Mama Pray, I was only kidding. John Street's a shameless plug, but put the second part of my Star Wars TOR video up today. Yes, check out Josh Street's channel. He has started making videos on Star Wars, a video game, and I'm sorry, Josh Street, I forget what the TOR stands for. But I did see your second video came up today in my email. Tiki of Doom says, I use the weed, but I can't stand pot culture. Many of the new people since legalization are the worst. Joseph says, now there are two. Oh, there's two downvotes. Lori Roberts says, night be well, all smoke 'em if you got 'em. That's fine. I mean, listen, if you're happy where you are, smoke it up. Mamo Pray 5 says, hi all, I know you're kidding about the downvote. Mr. Miles says, Bird of Prey, pot grew wild, beer does not, so yes, pot has been around longer. Tiki of Doom, ever been to Karoga on weed? Nope, weed is strictly forbidden in Karoga. Vile Mike says, alcohol production is much more complicated than burning a plant. Mr. Miles says, anyone seeing a beer plant sprout up in the wild? And Rock Solid puts in a $2 chat donation hype for more bop reading. Schnell. Damn it, Roxy. Okay, I'll read one more. Let me get through these comments. Roxy says it is pronounced Ursha Gaming. Gotcha. Uncle Remus says, Mamo Pray on a cell phone and give Bird the downvote. Sneaky Mamo Pray. Roxy says, read more and I'll donate. Daniel said that Bird of Prey, she was an awesome, perfect girl in YouTube. Pink Jess Suck 85. She was amazing Star Wars fangirl. Well, good for her. Josh reads that Star Wars it's SWTOR equals Star Wars The Old Republic. That's it. Sorry about that. The Old Republic. Well, Mike says I don't personally smoke weed, as it's one of the few drugs that hits me hard, I assume. But I'm all for legalizing it so we can tax it. Milo praises I would never give him a downvote, but if weed would allow him to walk, I would force feed it to him. Ha ha ha. Not Ryan Johnson says 3 downvotes. Everyone downvote. Bird has a fake certification downvote. Mr. Mouse is strictly forbidden in Karoga means not even medicinal. That's correct. Thomas Potts says all potheads join Turtistan. It's legal. Yep, all the potheads should join Turtistan. Tiki of Doom is lowly at Mile Prey. Mr. Mouse is medicinal, I meant. 47 Yorktown says, hello, Mr. Bird. I'm late for your stream. Can you forgive me? Yes, 47 Yorktown. Despite what you might hear, I am absolutely forgiving. Kennewick Sapien says all Karogans are high on life. Absolutely. And there's a Frank Sinatra song, High on Life, which is my motto. Joseph Pedrick is Bird of Prey, Mamo Prey. Mrs. D, you are the best. She says thank you. Josh Streets says, Brother Pray, don't forget to move the already read bops to the archives. Yes. Yes, thank you. Okay. So, because Rock Solid bribed me, we're going to do one more. So, these ones are going to the archive. So, 14, we got 2 at 1427. Dear Bop, in the episode The Child, it's rumored the story was originally written for another Roddenberry series. Is this true? In which series? And why did Freddy love bouncing on Frank's lap? Okay. First off, F you. Freddy did not bounce on Frank's lap. Freddy and Frank have nothing. The Child is rumored to have been written for another Roddenberry series. Is it true? Yes, it's true. Which series? I don't know. Andromeda. No, Gary 7. Honestly, I have no frickin' idea. That's not a question for her advice. Have you Googled it? Let's see. The Child. Gene Roddenberry. Written TV series. Yep, nobody knows. Okay. So I would say it was probably written for the Gary 7 spin-off series that never happened. So they adapted it to Star Trek. There you go. There's the official answer. Okay, we'll do one more. An FU about Freddy and Frank. Dear Bop, I have a friend that supports Trump's and thinks the impeachment is a sham. When I reminded him that he said Obama should have been impeached for wearing a tan suit, he says corruption is not a real reason as Trump is above the law, but a tan suit was disrespectful to everyone. What should I do? I tell your friend to stop smoking the weed, because that is the logic of an idiot. Okay, only someone who's high or has an IQ south of the 3-digit mark would come up with that type of logic. If your friend ever honestly suggested Obama should be impeached for wearing a tan suit, I hope somebody gave him a whack across the face. There are definitely things that Obama could have been possibly impeached for, though wearing a tan suit was not one of them. And people who make crap up and say you should impeach somebody over wearing a tan suit, they make it much harder when all the legitimate things come around, and they make it like a joke. So that's a terrible position to have had. As for Trump impeachment being a sham, it is. It's all total waste. Democrats just trying to get some positive publicity. But for what reason? So Trump gets impeached. It means nothing. Nobody who was going to vote for Trump is not going to vote for him because he was impeached. And being impeached, as we all know, doesn't mean being removed from office. And he might well get impeached. He only needs a majority of the House to be impeached. Okay? And there is a majority of Democrats in the House. So it is quite possible Trump might get impeached. But he's not going to get convicted because you need 2/3 of the Senate to be convicted and removed from office. And that is never, ever, ever going to happen. So this is just an exercise in futility, a waste of time and money, and a show for the media. It's almost like the Democrats made a deal with the media. We'll give you good ratings if you help us to get elected or whatever. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But it's a shit show. It's a total waste of time. If the Democrats had a 2/3 majority in the Senate, sure. If you think you can impeach him on something, try it. Maybe. But they know there's absolutely zero chance Trump is getting removed from office. So this is just a waste of time and money. And worse, it's a waste of them doing things that they could have been doing, like helping with immigration issues that still need to be worked out, and instead we're wasting time on impeachment that even if he gets impeached is going to mean nothing. It's going to be an asterisk in a history book, right? And I tweeted this when this happened, when this started. I tweeted to Speaker Pelosi. I said, at least, I was like, how does history remember the Republicans who impeached Clinton, right? They don't remember them well, right? Nobody says, oh yeah, those guys were real heroes, right? Kent Starr, he was a great American. He sacrificed so much. I wish we had more people like Kent Starr. Nobody thinks that. Nobody says Newt Gingrich, that was a great man for getting Clinton impeached. No, nobody thinks that. Most people laugh about it now, right? Most people laugh about it now, and if they're serious, they think it was probably a pretty shitty thing to do. But at least the Republicans had a technically correct, okay? They were technically correct. Bill Clinton did lie under oath. That was technically true. He actually technically committed a crime. A fairly major crime, lying under oath when lying to the American people. Granted, it was about oral sex, but it was a crime nonetheless. So the Republicans, even though they were technically correct, they are still remembered almost in a mocking way today. Now, Nancy Pelosi isn't even technically correct. Trump hasn't even done anything technically wrong. And they're still pushing for impeachment. So even if they get the impeachment, how is history going to look back at them in 20 years? Not favorably, in my opinion. But now we're getting into politics. Trump isn't a conservative, rock solid. You're right. Trump was a third-party candidate. Trump is a moderate, okay? Trump is the candidate that everybody said they wanted until he actually ran for president. Until he actually ran for president, Trump was the candidate everybody said they wanted. He was a Democrat. He was a Republican. He was a damn moderate. He was the only Republican to say good things about Planned Parenthood. He crossed all the boxes, and you're like, holy shit, Trump was the one I never thought could get elected as a Republican, but I felt the conservative Republicans would never vote for him. But he actually, the wall, keeping out illegals, those were the same things that the Democrats were saying. Right? 15 years ago, 10 years ago, even 6 years ago, Democrats were the ones saying we need to keep the illegals out of the country. It was Republicans, conservatives, who were for, so to say, the illegal migration because they thought it equaled cheap labor. Okay? That was Democrats. That was Hillary Clinton campaigned on building a fence, a bigger fence. Chuck Schumer talked about these things, about doing things. Obama talked about things they would do. They had to keep the illegals out of the country. And that's what Trump talked about. And then all of a sudden, everybody said, oh shit, Trump is on the side of securing the border. We have to be on the opposite side. And it all flipped in weeks. In weeks. Yes, I know it's bad. He is a moderate. I don't know what to tell you. He is a moderate. He doesn't act like a moderate now because he ran as a Republican. But he's a third-party moderate who hijacked the Republican ticket and won. Vile Mike says Pence agreed with and defended a pastor that said atheists like me should be put to death. Yes, he is dangerous. Well, I would never vote for Mike Pence, Vile Mike. Just so we're clear. I do not agree with anything almost Mike Pence has to say. But Mike Pence and Donald Trump are very, very different politically. Okay? Trump picked Pence because, if anything, the Democrats would think twice about trying to remove him. Because then you have a real conservative. Trump is not a real conservative. Trump doesn't give a shit about Planned Parenthood. He doesn't care. He probably hopes that Planned Parenthood grows. He's fine with that. He doesn't give a shit. He's a New York Republican. He doesn't care. I don't care what he says. I know what he thinks. He doesn't care about Planned Parenthood. He's not trying to tear down Planned Parenthood. He's trying to put up a wall. Okay, that's what he's trying to do. That's his main thing. If Pence ever became president, Jesus Christ. Well, first, everything he does would probably get blocked by the Congress and the Senate and then the courts. But you think Trump picked conservative judges? Pence would be far different, far worse. Anyway, guys, no, I'm sorry, Rock Solid. I gotta go. Physical therapy starts soon. And I got way off topic here. And I didn't read most of this chat over the last 10 minutes. I am sorry. But I gotta go. Wesley, what's wrong with Pence? Well, I'm not a particular fan of Pence. He seems too religious for me, to be honest. Okay? And too conservative. He seems too conservative. Trump is a moderate Democrat. They are just angry he's not as bloodthirsty or racist as they are. Indeed. 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 And Mr. Lundell says, I'm willing to bet Pence said no such thing. So many lies out there. No one takes a minute to do some research and find the truth. Actually, no one cares if you're atheist or not. You know what? I believe that too, Mr. Lundell. I apologize. I read the comment, but I was not making a statement to its accuracy or not. You would be amazed how many people think Trump said if he ever ran for a president, he'd run as a Republican because Republicans are stupid or something like that, which is bullshit. Nothing ever said like that. These are just so many things that are just made up about both sides. So yeah, that's probably nonsense. And if Pence actually did say that, I'll tell you right now, he's wrong. And he'd be an asshole and an idiot for saying that if he said it. Because that's stupid. Nobody should be put to death for their beliefs. The entire country was founded on the fact of not putting people to death for their religious beliefs. I mean, that is the antithesis of what it is to be an American. Putting people to death for their political beliefs. But you're right. I doubt he ever actually said that. Wesley, that Dog was ending an hour ago. I have to end. I'm sorry, guys. Take care. And if I still have any subscribers, tomorrow is Deep Space Nine Wednesday. Qapla. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. Check out BirdoPray5.com, the new home of everything Birdo Pray 5 on the web. You can also check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. If you'd like to make a donation, check out paypal.me/BirdoPray5 or on BirdoPray5.com. Take care.